One of the most solemn days in the Jewish year is Yom Kippur, usually translated as the Day of Atonement. Atonement, a concept that we find very hard to understand because toner is something we associate with photocopiers rather than religion. But to try and explore Yom Kippur, however we translate it, is Rabbi Mendy Lent. Mandy, you're very welcome.
Thank you, Tom.
Yom Kippur.
Yom Kippur, as you said, is the most solemn day in the Jewish calendar. Not a sad day, but it's a serious day. It's the day that the end of our judgment, which began 10 days previously on Rosh Hashanah. We've had 10 days to better our ways since Rosh Hashanah to try and improve. And then Yom Kippur comes and we try and stand before God and beg for a good year ahead. There's a really interesting thing on Yom Kippur, and we're told that Yom Kippur can only atone for the sins between man and God. For sins between man and man, Yom Kippur does not atone. That needs to be done in person with actual real forgiveness from the other party who's been offended or upset, which is a very beautiful concept that you can't just offend people and then say, well, God will forgive me. God says, absolutely not. I can understand if you are not behaving towards me properly, but not towards your fellow man. So Yom Kippur is a 25-hour fast, beginning at sunset and ending at nightfall the next day. No water or food, and we attend most of the day spent in synagogue. There's an evening service called Nidrei, which is very famous. It's actually an annulment of our vows that we've made. And then we go on to the begging for forgiveness. The next day is a long day in the synagogue. Traditionally, the men wear white as a sign of purity. We like to try and be or imitate the angels. Maybe God will forget and think we're angels. But hopefully, by the end of Yom Kippur, that's the level that we should be on. It's serious. We try and refrain from idle chat and just miscellaneous things. We try and focus on what it is. During any spare time, we'll say psalms and things to ensure that we are on the best level that we can be in. And the main point of it is it's meant to be an honest admission of who we are and try and get back to what we really should be. It's not about becoming a new person. It's just getting back to the core of who you are before it was covered over with all this rubbish that's gone on through the year. And at the end of the fast, we actually, it becomes quite a celebratory moment. People wait for the long shofar blast at the end, and they finally know that this is, we're done. Let's start a clean slate right now. Wipe the slate clean, and we can move on, please God, to a more productive year ahead.
So Yom Kippur is this idea of return to the self, return to origins, return to God, and also that return involves reconciliation with God and with other people.
Absolutely. The days between Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur are called the 10 days of Teshuvah. Teshuvah is commonly mistranslated as repentance. There's a different word for repentance. Teshuvah, actually, the roots of the word in biblical Hebrew are shuv, to return, which is returning to who you are. I always give an example of a photoshopped image. It can be completely unrecognizable from what it was originally. But when you use Photoshop, you never actually do anything to the original image. It's just layers are added on top. So Rosh Hashanah, Yom Kippur, it's about removing the layers, getting back to the original and the core, because that's the part that's connected with God, without untainted by the rest of the world.
You said that Yom Kippur ends with a meal. Can you tell me about that meal?
So the meal after Yom Kippur is not like the other festive meals. Normally we will make a benediction, a sanctification over the meal with various blessings and wine. The meal of Yom Kippur is simply breaking the fast. And that's up to...
So literally breakfast, even though it's in the evening.
Absolutely, yeah. And that's up to various people's digestion systems, what they prefer. Some people want a glass of orange juice and a piece of cake. Some people want, full-on steaks. So it's up to whatever. Generally, people end up with a stomachache the next day.
You said that Yom Kippur ends with a blast of the shofar. Well, let's end this video in that way.
This is the post Yom Kippur blast. It's a simple long blast. We'll try and get as much as we can into it.
Well, just before you do it, I just want to say thank you very much.
It's been a pleasure.